Heads up, this podcast contains profanity, uncomfortable topics, and opinions of two weird gentlemen that are not suitable for children or sensitive listeners. Also, don't put Twinkies on your pizza.
Alright, woo! Episode 1! I guess I'm the only one that's excited around here.
I'm a little excited, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, a little excited, right? Anyway,
excited down in the pants.
This is exciting, man. This is our official first episode, right?
Yeah.
I think we declared it. We are Cancer and Capricorn.
Cancer and Capricorn.
A.K.A. Can and Cap.
It's Ken and Cap, yeah.
Can and Cap.
Originally.
Our Gmail should be Ken and Cap, because originally we wanted Caca Podcast. Or I wanted Caca
He
Podcast.
wanted Caca Podcast. I do not want to be considered feces.
I'm just saying it's easier because if we try to put two long C words, you know, people can get it confused with a band or get it confused with the
like
Chanel bag, or, you know, yeah.
Sounds like a metal band, Cancer and Capricorn.
Well, yeah, like, I mean, we'll explain to you in a bit how we got that name. It's an old reference that Eric and I did, and we're actually still trying to see if we can make a manga about it, but, you know, only the future can tell what it holds for us. But, yeah, this is it, man. First episode of Cancer and Capricorn. We don't have a theme. It's just that this is what we always had. I mean, we talk about horoscopes, right?
Yeah, we do. And real quick, let's just introduce ourselves since no one's
Let's
really...
do that. That's a great idea. Look at you. You're a professional. I like you.
You know me.
You're hired. Anyway, I am Cancer. That's a terrible name, but, you know, it's mostly horoscope related, but you don't have to refer me to that. I'm also a SyncBeesting, as in synchronize. Beasting. Don't think I work at a sink or wash dishes. I used to be a dishwasher. But yeah, SyncBeesting, which I prefer to do, or you can just call me Buzzy for short. You know, whatever you want. I'm a whore with names. It's up to you. Over here on my right is Cap, a.k.a. Capricorn.
Exactly. That's basically my zodiac sign. My name is Eric, a.k.a. DigitalGore. You know, gamer tag, so look me up on the PSN network if you want. I really don't play that shit much, so I mean, it probably wouldn't help out anyways, but I mean, feel free to add me on.
Oh yeah. And then it's like, that's funny too, is that well, you were DigitalGore when we tried to do the music thing a long time ago. It was Fruity Loops, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, my name was DJ Beasting back at the time, and I was thinking, like, man, I'm into music. It's gonna happen. Our career's gonna happen. Do you remember what your first song sounded like?
I actually do. It was very like techno-y upbeat. I remember even the name of it. It was called The Pride of the Strongest. I wish, you know what? It's still out there. I made a freaking...
You never deleted your MySpace?
I never deleted that MySpace. It's still out there in MySpace.
Oh my god, we gotta find
it's called Vocal Cord Dismemberment.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's still out there. It's called Pride of the Strongest.
Do you remember how the song went? I just remember like...
I don't
remember being that fast.
Something like that.
Sure, something like that.
And then there was a little... Pride of the Strongest.
Oh yeah, it did. Yeah. It was that whisper machine.
Yeah.
Pride of the Strongest.
Anyways, I was so proud of that shit. Like, I was like, this is awesome. I'm a musician.
It's gonna happen, man.
Zero talent.
It's gonna happen.
Zero talent. So I mean,
you're gonna tour with God Majo, and it's gonna be awesome.
Boy, that dream went down the toilet quickly.
Oh man, that wasn't. I mean, we were hopeful dreamers. What can I say? We thought we were gonna make it that way, but
hey, I mean, you gotta try it. I mean, if you don't try, you're never gonna succeed.
That's true. And same goes with telemarketing. But telemarketing can go to hell. I know. I've done it. It was the worst. And so, you know, we all evolved. Eric is a family man. We have actually talked about it before on our podcast, which, you know, was a lost episode. So, you know, Eric's family man. Eric, quick description of yourself, I guess. What do you want to tell your audience real quick?
I mean, basically, you know, yeah, like Buzzy said, you know, I have a wife and daughter. She's barely 2 years old. I love her to death. So basically, since she was born, like, I've changed. Like, you know, I was very, and, you know, everyone has, you know, everyone, they tell you they had a kid, they're like, oh, you know, my life's changed. It's real, man. Like, you know, like, everything changes, your perception changes. It's just different.
And as for me, I'm a single man who's into the ladies. I think that's about it. I think I covered everything I need to know about myself, so it's all good. And yeah, whatever.
Real quick, my wife's calling me through
We're gonna edit this
FaceTime, so yeah.
We're gonna edit this portion.
Unfortunately, we don't have the clip of Eric talking to his wife on FaceTime, but it goes a little something like this. Warning, it's a little graphic. I love you, baby. Thank you, everybody. You know, something like that. Anyway, back to the show.
So anyway, yeah, man, first episode. You know, it's funny. We had like 10,000 topics, and now I forgot. The only thing that comes up to mind is boobies.
Well, who doesn't think of boobies?
I mean, it's,
like,
it's a guy thing.
Yeah.
What can I say?
I mean, we're wired that way. I mean, as soon as you see a girl with a nice set, like you're just gonna look. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder. Like, I mean, I can't wait to.
My wife even looks, for God's sake.
See,
So, I mean,
and I think that's what's cool about your wife is that she's kind of like us too, but you know, of course, in the girl perspective, so
right.
she's gonna look at dudes like, hell yeah, nice ding dong right there, or hell yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I mean, I guess.
I'm just saying, it's good to know that they're just human as we are. Because
it's not like they're gonna see some dude walking like, check out that outline of that cock. Like, you know what I mean? Like
the jean shape. Look at that. Oh my god, you know. But yeah, anyway, we lost half of our listeners, and that's great. That's how you do a first episode.
We have Jimmy from Wisconsin listening in, probably rubbing his pants, but whatever.
Yeah, can you talk more about dick outline?
Dicks.
Dicks. Okay. So anyway, let's talk about. So we already discussed ourselves briefly. And what we like to do here is we just talk about shit. I mean, we've grown up. You've been through a lot of adventures. I've been through some mental adventures. And the thing is, one thing we have in common is some of the shit we like and some of the shit we have perspective to. I mean, can we both agree that we love the first generation Pokemon?
Oh, for sure. No doubt about it. I love it.
Like, holy crap, man. Like, I can't believe... and there's been a lot of anniversary lately. Like, I think the Pokemon already had their, like, 10 or 20th anniversary.
I mean, they've been around for a while. I remember when the Game Boy games came on. That's the first time I ever heard of Pokemon.
Oh my God.
Which I think that's what they are, right? It was originally just a Game Boy game, the red and green version.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And then later on, they're like, let's do a TV show about it and give kids.
But I remember the commercials for the Game Boy game, and I was like, holy shit, this looks awesome. I remember the commercial with the bus. Had all the Pokemon inside, Pikachu's going in there, and then they compacted it into a fucking Game Boy.
Is that how you got introduced to Pokemon?
That's the first thing I saw, was the commercial for the Game Boy games. And then I remember I saw it in the store, and I was like, holy shit, that's the game that I saw on TV. So I begged my parents, please let me buy this. I literally bought a Game Boy just for that game.
Was it the actual golden or the classic Game Boy?
It was the classic Game Boy, the big ass Game Boy with the 4 batteries.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
With the freaking green screen. I loved it.
That's the original green screen, by the way. If your eyelids weren't used to that, you don't know how good you're missing the good days, I guess. I mean, it's that thing is awesome.
And I'm gonna be honest, that game basically got me into RPGs. Like, for sure.
Really?
Like, I didn't even know...
Not even Final Fantasy. You're a big Final Fantasy
I am, but, like, I mean, I played the Pokemon game before Final Fantasy games. Because I was young.
I did not know that.
I didn't even know what RPG meant. I didn't even know what that was until later on when I got...
RPG stands for rigging games penises.
It stands for role-playing games, but okay.
Yeah.
But anyways, I really got into it. I loved it. I remember it was just fun, man. Like, I literally felt like the character.
That's the one role-playing game. Yeah. So, you know, Ash Ketchum, the guy who stays 10 for over 20 years, I mean, that's the way he rolls.
I don't consider him the true person. Like, you know, ever since they released this Pokemon Origin, I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, but especially when Charmander gets his ass kicked, he's like, ah!
It's, the character's name is actually Red. That's the real character's name. And the rival is Green, technically, in Japan. But in America, since they changed it from green version to blue version, they were like, fuck it, let's call him blue.
Why did they change it to blue? Is it just a USA
thing?
Well,
maybe because it's a Charizard and a fucking Blastoise. Kind of makes more sense. Like, you know, they're kind of contrasting each other. Instead of a fucking Fire Dragon versus a Leaf Pokemon, you know, Venusaur.
That's true. I mean, I just figured the blue was because... Or, like, the green associated with a
water
Pokemon.
You know, like, red and blue kind of go. Like, you know, it's kind of a clash. Instead of like red and green.
That's true. I mean, one of the most popular shows
I think what they should have
red versus blue.
Right,
It's a great color concept. Mm-hmm. Also, it's USA colors. USA.
And then,
USA.
When they released the yellow version, I consider that more following the story of the anime, of Ash. Because you start off with Pikachu.
You get the starter Pokemon. And
they give you all 3 starting Pokemon. Kind of like in the story. But, you know, I always considered Ash a bitch anyways.
Yeah, he was. I mean, come on, dude. Misty just popping it right there for you. You ain't gonna do nothing about it.
I know. She's like, can you give me my bike back? And she's just following that dick around.
Yeah, she didn't care about the bike. She wanted to ride your bike, Ash. Why you gotta be a little bitch about it?
And then Brock, like, I mean, I love the guy. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he was trying to get laid, but I mean, obviously it couldn't happen.
I can relate to Brock a lot. I don't want to talk about it, but I can relate to Brock a lot. I think it's just self-explanatory. I mean, the only problem is I can see, but you know.
I know.
Yeah, man. Pokemon, dude. You want to know how I got introduced to Pokemon?
I want to hear it.
Do you remember the good old days? I don't know if it's happened to you, where VHS. You remember VHS?
Oh, of course.
I think it would stand for Video Head Cassette. I don't know where they got the S from. But anyway, VHS. There used to be, like, Nintendo used to send my house, like, cool things like Banjo and Kazooie, for example. I didn't know what the heck they were until I got a VHS, played it, and it's like, coming to Nintendo 64. I was like, I was excited. Same came with the Pokemon. They gave me a VHS, and I was like, what the hell's Pokemon? And this is probably what got me into whole Japanese life culture, or lifestyle as well. So, like, they showed it. I was tripping balls at this cartoon. It was like, coming soon, coming soon. I was like, this is going to be the greatest cartoon ever. Only to find out it is a video game about capturing monsters and then you making them do what you want. You know, I was like, dude, slavery is awesome. I can't wait for this game. So I remember just those times where they would send you VHS tapes to your house. That was the best marketing promotion. I don't know why they don't do that with Blu-rays or DVDs. It's perfect.
That is pretty awesome.
And you know, because unfortunately kids now don't care about that. They just want to be.
Were you part of like a subscription, like the Power magazine or whatever?
I never had like Nintendo Power. No, it wasn't like that. I guess it's just that they kind of figured out maybe NSA was just that's the way they found out how to find out who's in your household and that's the next thing you know. I just remember getting those VHS tapes and it was the best. And ever since then, I remember Pokemon. The first one I bought was Pokemon Red. And then, like, the Game Boy Pocket came out, and I got the yellow one, so I was playing the shit out of it when it came to Game Boy Pocket, and I couldn't get enough of it. The music, the games, and just everything was just perfect. And my first Pokemon was Bulbasaur.
Nice.
And, yeah, and then, of course, you know, 10 years later, they made over 1,000 Pokemon, and I could care less about these fucking new guys. Like,
I don't know if you knew this part, but did you know, basically, based on the Pokemon you picked, it was basically the level of the difficulty of the game. So,
really?
For example, you picked Bulbasaur, right?
Yeah.
That was technically considered hard.
Really?
Yeah, because, I mean, when you go to your first... Because Bulbasaur's a little harder to train compared to the other two, like Charmander or Squirtle. Charmander's considered easy, if I remember correctly, and Bulbasaur's kind of like... Squirtle, I'm sorry, is kind of like the normal.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that
Holy
until
crap.
later on. But it's true, though, because
because your first Pokemon gym trainer is Rock. Fire can't beat Rock, so how's that
well,
work?
it's not ineffective, but, like, I mean, you can still fuck up a Rock Pokemon with Fire. Bulbasaur, too, I mean, Leaf attacks are deadly against the Rock, but it's just the way that they level up. Like, Bulbasaur is a little bit harder, like, you know, to train it. Like, you know, it's hard to explain, but
so I'm freaking OG hard then. I'm proud of myself now. I mean, I don't know what is it about Bulbasaur, but I was like, I want it, you know, and then it was even better than the cartoons because he had an attitude. He's like, Bulbasaur, you kick my ass, you know, and it was awesome. And
I've always been a Squirtle or a Charmander guy. Doesn't sound right. I've always been a Squirter.
I've
always been a Squirter, you know?
He's like, okay, good to know. I'm pretty sure your wife is hearing this and like, oh my god, I can concur. So, besides Eric always hunting for a Squirtin', along those lines, obviously Pokemon, I guess, would say reigns supreme, but there was also other stuff, you know, Pokemon had
very
cards, games, and then later on we had Digimon, digital monsters.
I'm going to be honest, it's kind of the same thing with Digimon for me as far as the first generation, because, I mean, as far as, like, the rest of the Digimon, like, I couldn't give two shits about, to be honest with you, like, second gen or whatever shit they came out with afterwards. Yeah. I really liked the first generation. It was actually fun. I mean, if I had to pick between the two, Pokemon's still higher in my category compared to Digimon. When I first saw it, I thought it was kind of like a Pokemon ripoff. But then I kind of learned more about the story, and they kind of got the idea of, like, you know, those Tamagotchi, like, little things. Like, you know, that's basically what it was, like digital pets, you know?
Yeah, and I think that was the cool part. And they kept it simple, too. It's like you had, like maybe overall, like they had more evolution stages, I believe.
Oh, they did, and they would revert back.
But when it came to attacks, they each had 2 attacks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
and
like
they always had to announce it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
So like
that kind of threw me off.
Like celestial arrow.
I'm surprised you remember that.
Oh, dude,
I remember
that's
the
only one I remember.
The little T-Rex. This is his Agumon.
Yeah.
Pepper breath. That was
his
that's
technique. The way he said it too.
Pepper breath.
Dude, I mean, it's just funny because he's going into this epic battle. Just imagine having the biggest monstrous creature go battle for you. You're like, go get him, try super Kaba Loba Mom, and he just was like, pepper breath, and it's just like that was it.
The names threw me off too, like Kaguwachuman or whatever. Like it always ended with Mon, and
well, it was sponsored by Jamaicans. Hey man, get out your Digimon and pepper breath, man.
Come party with us, man.
No, man, jiggy jiggy jiggy. Wow, that's racist. Anyway, but. But yeah, everybody was a man.
Yeah. And like I was saying, like, it was good, don't get me wrong, but still, like, I mean, I couldn't rewatch it right now, probably, to be honest with you.
Well, let's see. I don't know what's considered second season of Pokemon, but Digimon, I love the first season. The second season was too bad, and then after that, I think
as far as
I
seasons,
lost it.
I'm the same. I don't know what's considered second season for Pokemon, but second generation, I guess you can say those extra 150, whatever the fuck they
and it blew my mind. Like, they're making more Pokemon? Oh, boy, it's going to be exciting.
And I like some of them, because I did play the Gold and Silver version. I really like those games, too.
I didn't get to play that much. I don't think I ever played it at all.
It's actually pretty fun.
I think I went straight to Sapphire after that.
Yeah, like Sapphire, it's basically this. Oh, no, I'm thinking of Crystal, sorry.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because, I mean, Sapphire is the other generation, which I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about.
I don't remember any of the Pokemon. The only one I can remember is one named Aaron, I think. It was like a little rock Dalmatian one. But I really don't remember shit. I don't know if it's just like, if you, at the time, was maturing, maybe boobies got implanted in my head at the time.
It must have been.
Or it's
big
just
old
that
ass on your head.
Booby man, you know.
Bubble butt, you know.
Bubble butt. But yeah, I don't know. I just know that after a while, and I'm not saying like, oh, if you still like Pokemon, you're immature. No, it's just like I give you props, honestly, because that's dedication, because I can barely dedicate to one thing. I mean, shoot, I can barely dedicate to...
even to this day, I still like
soda,
Pokemon. Like, I mean, I'll randomly download it on my computer and be like, you know what, I'm nostalgic. I want to play the red version.
Legally, of course. Nothing
of course.
against the law. But, yeah. You can always borrow my games, too. I have it. I think I do. I don't know. I gotta check the secret room.
All right, we're going to talk about this afterwards.
Talk about this after, but
anyway, something I want to bring up.
Okay.
Which movie? I mean, I remember they were both big box office hits. I remember the Pokemon, the first movie when it came out on theaters. I was
Digimon, right?
Yeah, Digimon also came out.
Okay, I'll give you my 2 cents because that's all I can afford. Is when Pokemon movie came out, the hype for it was so big. You had an intro movie which was Pokemon Vacation,
Pikachu's Vacation.
Oh yeah, there we go. And I remember that song that was sung by Vitamin C, who were famous for that graduation song, the "As we go on, we remember," And then
I'm
they did that.
surprised you know these names.
I know my jams, dude. I know my jams. Okay, so yeah, of course I remember that. And then they did the "I need a vacation." I still have. I bought the Pokemon soundtrack. That's how real the hype was.
If you remember correctly, in that movie, they introduced some of the second generation Pokemon.
Yeah, they were.
They had that one. I think it was Snubbull, the bulldog-looking one.
Yeah, the big old.
And it had that elephant one. I don't remember its name, to be honest with you.
Elephant Mon, probably. But yeah, you're right, though. They did do that, and people were freaking out. They're like, who the hell is that? Yeah. I think they had that Madi, whatever, that blue mouse with the blue ball.
I don't know how it was here in California, but I remember when I went to Texas to one of the movie theaters to watch it, kids were with their duffel bags filled with Pokemon cards and their Game Boy games so they can trade with people.
Well, yeah, because when you go to the theaters, they gave you a special limited card.
Yeah.
I forgot which one I had. I think it was...
I got Mewtwo.
I think I got Pikachu, probably. And I was, sad because I wanted Mewtwo. And I don't know if they gave you a secret coin or something, but I remember
it was a card. If I remember, it was a card. Yeah.
So I know it was a card, and then it was cool. Like I went in with I guess I went with a high expectation. But when you're a kid, or at least for me, when I was a kid, if I didn't really care for something, but I didn't want my friends to think I guess I was scared to tell my friends the truth. But when I saw the movie, I was kind of disappointed.
Were you?
Because I thought it was gonna be an epic battle, and I guess it was. But I thought Mewtwo was gonna do something
more.
cool,
Yeah.
and he just runs away with his clone clan. And
If anything, the ending was a little stale.
oh,
but-
spoiler alert! I'm sorry, spoiler alert. If you were planning to see Pokemon the first movie,
Well, I think it's past the spoiler alert. This movie was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, but it
so I
could've
mean,
been- yeah, but
let's calm down here, okay? If you haven't seen it, that's not our fault. Whatever,
that's
you know.
true. Fair
I mean,
game. I mean, at least we're not.
This
like,
isn't
The
a
Walking
brand
Dead.
new movie. It's like, oh my god, we spoiled the ending.
Yeah, that's true. But I was disappointed. The best thing about the movie, honestly, was not just the song for Pikachu's Vacation, but the the Pokemon theme song. They remade it again with like this pop singer who was, I guess, somewhat popular back then. Oh my god, the passion he has when he's singing it. So it's like when he says, "I'll teach you and you teach me," whatever.
You teach me and I'll teach you.
Well, this one he was like, yeah. So it was like hardcore NSYNC pop when he's singing. So it was like, "You teach me and I'll teach you." Pokemon. Like it felt so
Really
good.
into it, yeah.
Saying it. And I was like, dude, this movie is gonna like rock this shit in theaters.
I'll
And
be
it
honest.
did, but I was disappointed.
For me, like, I mean, I really didn't pay like too much attention to the music. For me, it was just like Mewtwo's character, like just the way he was so dark. He was like,
The
you know, it's me
voiceover.
against the world. Like, you know, his voice actor did an amazing job on him. I was just like, holy shit, this Pokemon's badass. Like, you know, he
is.
doesn't give a shit. He's the strongest in the fucking world. He's just there to destroy.
Yep, that's like the best thing you could ever ask for in a Pokemon. This genetically enhanced badass that just wants to fuck shit up.
And then, like, you know, what was kind of like off to me is that this little weakling-looking Mew was giving him such a battle where you got this behemoth launching this shit, and you got this little pink sludge.
I
like,
can't really
don't-
remember that. Like
I don't know.
yeah.
It's just kind of like Mew, Mew, Mew. Really, you're gonna pose a threat to that badass
and
over there?
he's number 151.
Yeah.
compared to-
How is he behind if he was cloned off of him? That's why
I'm pretty sure someone on the internet's already explained about that.
I'm
but-
pretty sure, but
But it's like we don't
I've
have
always
free
wondered.
time. We ain't gonna look it up. I mean, we ain't got time for that.
nobody got time. for that.
Nobody got time for that.
And as far as the Digimon movie, I thought it was pretty badass too.
Dude, Digimon surpassed my expectation. I just remember going. The soundtrack overall was badass. I mean,
I will
music
say
they
that
already
on that
had.
one, yeah.
Soundtrack was awesome. I still have it, dude. That's how much I loved it. And then I don't know if they had a pre-movie. I think it was at the,
I think they did.
Amanda Anaconda, something like that. You remember that 2D cartoon where it was like paper cut mache? Angela Anaconda, that's what it was. And she had freckles and all that. They had a pre-cartoon before.
Did they?
And it
I
was
don't
a
remember.
Pokemon one. Anyway,
Yeah.
so if you guys remember that, good for you. It's probably on YouTube. You can look it up. Angela Anaconda Digimon pre-episode or whatever. And I think back then it was ABC Family that did
And
it. Wow, I
let me
can't
see
believe I
if I remember correctly. This Digimon movie was it the one where it was like a virus infecting like
yeah,
all
well,
computers.
both generations were affected in the movie. So they showed
Okay.
like a flashback of like I guess they showed how Tai got Agumon technically
Oh yeah, he was a little kid and like
with the little sister
yeah.
there, and then they went to
fought a fucking parrot, like a huge ass fucking parrot in the
yeah, it
middle of
was
the street.
weird. I was just like, oh wow, and then and then it shows when they had to stop a missile. And it kind of sucked because the whole cast wasn't there. Like everyone was busy with summer vacation. It was Tai, and it was the geeky guy, the one that has the bug.
Izzy.
Yeah. Who were the only two that can like save the digital world from that virus. Who was like really badass too. He like evolved into this weird jester character, and then
Kind of
like
did
that was a
look like a
badass
gesture, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a badass fight scene or like progression in the movie. And then the final one was second generation where they meet an American kid. And the American kid's like Digimon was cool as like a bunny with cannons.
Oh,
or, like,
I
rocket
remember,
cannon. You know, it was like Arnold Schwarzenegger's of freaking
Get down!
Get down! You Agumon, get down! You know,
Now that is impressive, sir.
it's oh, thank you. And then and then that was it. Like I just know the second generation was cool because it was like this. Go back to the beginning. Go back into the beginning.
I remember that, yeah.
And they fucked shit up. And then of course, you know, my homie right there was coming out. He's like, Celestial Arrow.
Who did that move again?
It was he was also in the first generation.
Wait,
but then
I
he
think
got-
you're getting confused. Wasn't that the girl that did that? The angel girl?
No. It
Celestial
was,
Arrow?
No, I thought it
Yeah,
was. I thought it was.
he had Hand
no.
of Fate.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, his was like a punch.
Oh, okay. Then it was
the
then
female
it's Ty's
angel.
little sisters.
Yeah.
I did
Yeah.
that. I just remember those two were like they date each other. It was Ty's name, and then the kid who was also in the film, but then he got older with the second generation, and he had the Digimon with the little wings on his head, all cute. And,
I think I remember that one. That's sure.
Yeah.
But let me bring up something here that I'm surprised at this, because I didn't catch it when I was little. Like, I remember with the whole Devimon thing and all that. Like, I'm surprised they actually named him Devimon. Like, you know, like devil monster. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I thought they were
like with the whole, like, you know, biblical references, and then an angel, freaking Digimon, comes out. And then, if I remember, I don't know if you remember, I remember when they were fighting that vampire one, what's his name, Myosmon? The vampire Digimon.
Oh, I think I remember.
And he did, like, his ultimate form, and it was the Hour of the Beast, and they actually said it on Fox Kids 666.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that.
I wouldn't doubt it. Like, I probably didn't know, because
it's on YouTube, I'm sure.
I was a stupid kid, you know, so...
It's on YouTube for sure, but this impacted me, because I was like, oh, shit.
And that's how you became DigitalGore. Digimon corrupted you. Oh, I get it now.
It happened on the 6th hour and the 6th minute of the 6th second.
You're like, I'm DigitalGore. Fear me.
Yeah, but I mean, look it up for sure. I mean, it was on Fox Kids, and I remember I was surprised.
Holy crap! You just blew my mind. You have a better memory than me. I mean, this is
why certain things.
That's why you're the best at movie quotes. Like, I'll mess it up.
You know, as far as music, you definitely have the better memory for sure. Because I don't remember soundtracks or names of artists or anything of that nature.
That's why I wanted to be a DJ, but it never happened because I couldn't make beats. I mean, I can dance to a beat. I know how to twerk it before twerking was popular, and I know how to pop lock it before pop locking it was popular. I mean, I just don't want to take the credit, but I'm just that good, I guess. But it's just amazing how, like, you remember a lot of stuff. I mean, I could have messed up an Arnold quote, and I would have been like, get down, Carrie. And you're like, no, it's get down, Kohei. And I'm like, whatever, same shit, Eric.
Oh, Jamie.
Jamie, it's me, father. I mean, it's me. See what I fucked it up? It's me, Jamie. I'm your father.
There you go.
There you go. Terrible. Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, but...
speaking of the topics of these things, I mean, I always like to throw in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it kind of reminds me of those...
I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh!
Really?
I remember that, from what I hear, is he's a schizophrenic kid, apparently. He has, like, 2 personalities.
This is what it is.
Pyramids, schizophrenia, and this bomb-ass chick that everyone loves to cosplay as with the whole, like... witch hat thingy, and he had a witch potion yellow and big old
dark
big
magician
old boobies,
girl, by the way.
Which I wish I saw as a kid, because if I saw that, I would have been like, oh, hallelujah, forget Pokemon, there's a woman in here.
let me set the record straight for you. He's not a schizophrenic. This is basically what it is.
Okay.
When I first saw Yu-Gi-Oh, I didn't see the episode 0, because there's an episode 0 for that,
just like
which is much more darker. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, it's a lot darker than what the actual show is. It's pretty crazy. But anyways, when I first saw it, I was wondering, like, who's this Ash-looking... a mixture of Ash and Goku. That's what I thought of.
Yeah, that's true. Him. Ash phase, Goku hair.
Yeah. But anyways, like, as more I saw it, like, I was like, oh, wow, this is a pretty cool concept. They were playing with Duel Monsters, which is basically a card game. Okay. And it's actually very strategic. I really got into the whole game itself. Although wasn't really too in depth of it. You're always like, how the fuck did he summon that shit without doing the proper thing? That's pretty much what I was always wondering. Like, he didn't sacrifice, like, he didn't really follow the rules of the actual game. But when the second season came out, they actually followed the rules a little better, which was a lot more better. But it was a good show, very strategic. I think you'd get into it if you were to watch it.
I don't know. I mean, now, yeah, because I'm a lot later. I don't know if I said that right. You gotta excuse my grammatical.
Forrest Gump over here, smart.
I only know English, and my grammar and my English sucks. Like, I remember I couldn't say dolphin for the longest time. I kept saying, "Look at the dolphin! Look at the dolphin!" I was stupid. Anyway, but no, like I think maybe that's why I didn't watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Kid, because the idea of cards and strategy just didn't amuse me. You know.
Well, what made it more fun is, like, it wasn't just like watching someone play a card game. Like, the monsters were literally summoned up and supposedly CGI graphics or whatever, the holograms. There were holograms. And but there was magic to the game. So basically, the character Yugi, it wasn't 2 personalities. It was basically a spirit trapped in his puzzle. I know it sounds crazy, but that's basically what it was. It was like his, I guess you can say, it's not really his ancestor, but they look exactly identical.
And that's why he has that personality thing.
Right. Like, it's not really him. It's somebody else.
Okay. Well, yeah, because
I guess you could say, if we were to literally explain it in real life, I guess you could say it's a schizophrenic, you know?
Well, that's how I learned it, and I was like, está loco, I don't care. But it's just stupid. I just told people, I only know English, and I'm all right here. Hypocrite. I guess that's what cancers do, we're hypocrites. But, yeah, so shout out to all the cancers out there. Born between July something, I don't give a shit. Anyway, but, Yeah, if you guys can't tell, I'm a dick. So Pokemon,
Big ol'
Digimon,
dick.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, you know it. And yeah, I mean, those were some good times. I mean, those were
Oh,
some
for
cool
sure.
stuff about like obviously you don't watch anything now with cartoons or anything like that. Obviously, you're a man. You're into cars now. You have a
I
daughter.
mean, I randomly do. I mean, I put on like
what's
Disney
the last
movies.
cartoons you heard though?
Oh, like new?
Yeah, I'm not talking about movies or like Frozen or anything like that. I'm talking about like
like something
cartoon
that's on
series
TV
that
that's brand new.
Like, what have you heard now? Like, I want to.
Oh, I don't know shit. Yeah, I don't watch like anything like that's new on TV or anything like that. It actually seems more dumbed down today's.
Really?
Yeah, because I remember like, let's say for example, if you compare like the '90s X-Men cartoon to like to a cartoon that's on now, like you hear the vocabulary in there. It's like way different. Like, I mean, there's words there that you wouldn't normally hear in a cartoon show.
Maybe that's how I got stupid. Maybe I didn't watch the smart cartoons because X-Men, I never got as a kid. I watched it, but I never understood it. But when I rewatched it now, dude, this is a masterpiece. Because
it's awesome.
The only one I kept up with was
there's so much
Spider-Man
shit.
90s cartoons.
That one, same thing with that one. There was some high vocabulary in that one.
Yeah, but like the only reason why I kept up with this because it was Spider-Man and the action
You were a
was
big fan.
really good.
Yeah.
The action was really good. Now I look at some of these cartoons. There's some good stuff here and there. Most of it's gone CGI. Like the Star Wars one, they're not too bad. The writing's great. There's some Disney stuff now, like that's done very well. Gravity Falls. Cartoon Network has Steven Universe. I don't know. I don't think you'll like the style or the
probably
tone,
not.
but it's a little bit. I wouldn't say sophisticated, but the humor's there. And the overall thing is that a lot of the cartoons from the '90s, and maybe why I like some of the cartoons today is they have heart. I think a lot of cartoons have heart. I mean, they cater to such a hyper kid world now. Like everybody's so
they got to grasp that attention.
Yeah, because there's some cartoons that I've seen before. I'm like, this is god awful. Like even like I'm just hoping that the kids out there they're smart enough to see like, you know what, I get it, you're a kid. Things are fun when you're a kid, but I'm pretty sure they're smart enough to look at some of these cartoons and be like, this sucks.
Like, really? Like,
and then like
you're feeding me this?
Oh my God, like it's just but I mean I'm just saying like. There's not a lot of cartoons now that have heart. Obviously the media's different, how we introduce, and everything's different. Obviously that's just a given point. Everything's different now. But it's just I think that was the good thing about cartoons back then. You had one place to see it. You had writers that were trying really hard in this business. Now it's like it's
because back then you got to think about it. I mean, now technology is so far in advance. Like I mean, they can make anything look awesome, but back then they didn't have that. So I mean, you literally had to depend on a story. Like you had to depend on like grasping that, like because it was all like animation, mostly by hand.
Hell yeah.
And it still looked awesome in my opinion, but I mean, definitely by today's standards, I mean that's crappy animation, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and it's just so I mean that's the thing about cartoons. It's different now. I think most of the cartoons I look forward to is just on YouTube. I love some of the animator stuff that they make. It's always like some weird humor
because it's very creative. They gotta stick to grasping your attention, not just by the animation, but by what's going on.
Yeah. And now everybody's on their cell phones now. I'm pretty sure everyone's probably listening to this on their cell phones or computer. Cell phones have taken over our lives. The best utility/toy out there, I guess, because everybody's parents is buying their kids phones. It's ridiculous.
I didn't have a cell phone until after high school.
Yeah. Oh, I had a cell phone in high school, but it was just, I miss it. It was awesome. It was my first cell phone. Do you remember your first cell phone?
I don't remember the model, but I know what it looks like.
I remember my first cell phone was a Kyocera. It wasn't a phone. It was just this phone with a blue screen. It had Snake on it, which is the best game ever. I remember it was the best thing I ever had. And of course, I had it in a leather pouch and all that. So, I was super protective. Those kids like, oh, don't break my shit. And so I remember, like, I had it in the pouch. And I remember I broke it because, like, after walking home from school, I was trying, like, my friends and I were just, like, being silly and trying to do wrestling moves. And one of them was, like, I forget what it was called. Like, I guess it was almost like the Rock's,
the Rock bottom?
Elbow. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Where, like, when every wrestler that get on top of the ropes and they just slam down with their elbow and do that elbow slam.
Yeah.
So I did that, and I remember landing on my phone. It was clipped in my pocket, and I heard something go, and I didn't think about it until I got home. And my fucking screen was smashed, and it sucked because, like, I couldn't play Snake. You can still, like, dial the phone and make calls, but it's like, I can't see shit. And it sucks. So after that, I went from a Nokia phone. It was a small Nokia. It was my first color phone, and it was one of the few phones out there that had color. And, man, people went batshit crazy for color phones.
I remember those. Yeah,
I couldn't believe it, man. Those ringtones that I had, they weren't actual ringtones. They were actually like mimic tones.
For those flip phones, I remember the Razor was very popular.
Yes.
Everyone's like, I gotta have a Razor. I want a
Motorola
Razor.
Man.
I also remember, this wasn't really a flip phone, but I remember the chocolate. The chocolate was very expensive.
Shit, hell yeah.
Speaking of the chocolate, and this is probably going to be a little graphic for you guys.
Oh my god, are you going to say it?
Yeah, I'm going to say it. So anyways, we were at this little kickback that we had at our buddy's house. We're not going to mention names or anything like that. But basically, I was right here with the...
You were with me, yeah.
Yeah, I was with SyncBeesting. I took my buddy's phone.
We were drunk.
Yeah, we were, by the way,
we were really
drunk. So anyways, I take his phone, we go to another room, and I'm like, listen, man, take a picture of my asshole. Take a picture of my asshole and set it as his background pic.
And I remember...
And I thought he was going to be like, no, man, take a picture of your own asshole. He's like, okay.
No, you know what? I think in my head I did that, but I guess I was so drunk, I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
And it wasn't just like me bending over. I literally spread my cheeks apart. Like with both hands, you know. I said it was going to be a little graphic, and I took a picture. And the funny thing is, our friend did not notice it. His girlfriend noticed it. And she's all like, who the fuck is this? Who the fuck is this butthole you took of? He's like, who is this chick? And then my buddy looked at the picture, and he's like, no, this does not belong to any girl. This is the manliest asshole I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my god, and it's just so funny because if that technology of the chocolate, just imagine if you didn't have a color phone, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So thank you, chocolate phone. You let us have a great memory.
Technology for the win.
Have assholes. But I can't believe you did that. Do you remember what color the chocolate was? Everybody had one with different colors.
It was
a red one, wasn't it?
There was a red one. There was a black one. I remember the buttons would glow red. That's what I remember from it. But yeah, I remember people were all about that phone. That buddy was all about it. Another one of my buddies was all about it too. He was always like, "Oh yeah, look at I got the chocolate."
Oh my god!
Yeah. And I could not give two shits about it
that
at
was
the time.
Some good times.
To be honest, like I could not care less. I was like, I just need a phone to make calls. That's all I cared about.
At that time when we discovered alcohol, we were a little bit more weird about that time. You know, because we didn't know what the hell we were doing or how to feel things. You know, high school was a tough time. You know, I mean, what could you blame us?
Not at all. We were just kids we were just having fun.
I mean, we could have done more with our lives, but you know, who gives a fuck? But you know, that's why you got the internet and all that good stuff. But yeah, it was weird that you did that, but I don't regret it.
You know, I've done weirder, and that's for other episodes. Yeah. You know, but yeah, I've definitely done weirder.
Yeah, definitely. Chocolate phones, man. That was okay. I mean, now obviously we're all smartphone people.
You look at then and look at now.
Yeah, we got iPhones. Now you can take pictures of assholes more than 1080p, even 4K. Hell, you can do a video on it. Yeah.
It just won't display 4K, but you can record in 4K.
So if you have a 4K TV and you want to see DigitalGore's asshole, you can now. Like, that's the beautiful thing about technology.
Hit me up, .com. I'll send you that asshole pic.
I gotta censor that. I want people sending pictures to you.
Oh, no. I meant me sending... Oh, crap. I just set myself up. It's okay, though. Send me your assholes. It's all good.
Oh, my God. It's going to be funny. Your email, like, it's just going to be full of assholes.
My wife is going to be, who the hell is this?
Who the hell
Babe,
are these ladies?
There's a little bit of nutsack in that pic, so it's all good.
She's also looking at every email with disgust, and she's just like...
Don't send me any dick pics. That's all I ask.
That's all he asks. Because
unless you got a behemoth,
and if you have a friend, and if you have a friend who has a computer that happens to have stuff in there that he shouldn't look at, make sure you lock your computer. Digital.
That's a story for another day, I would say.
Oh my god, man! Technology, Pokemon. I mean, anything else you want to throw in before we end this episode?
I mean, no, man. I mean, that was pretty awesome. We covered the three things that I really wanted to talk about.
Oh man, so. Anyway, I guess that concludes our very first episode. I mean, I can't believe it. This is episode 1 right here. We got Pokemon, we got Digimon, we got Yu-Gi-Oh!, cell phones, and asshole. Like, what more could you want in a podcast?
And to be honest, this is like the most weirdest podcast. How can you go from Pokemon to assholes? That's just my question, but we can do it. We've done it. It's been done.
And now we live in a world where we can talk about it and even go on DeviantArt and look for Pokemon with assholes on it. It's beautiful. I love it. I'm gonna go DeviantArt right now and go check that out. So anyway, I guess this concludes the end of the episode. I'm gonna go on DeviantArt. If you guys know some great fan art, don't send it to me. But if you want to, you can go check out our Facebook, which is facebook.com/ we'll get back to you on that one, but I know I made it.
Yeah, it's called Cancer and Capricorn, but we're probably gonna change it to Can and Cap, make it short and sweet. But we'll update you on that.
AKA Kaka Podcast.
Oh hell no, no Kaka.
Kaka is funny.
It's funny, but I don't want to be considered a piece of shit.
I know, but they got Team Coco. And then they got
Coco sounds better than Kaka.
Oh, I know, but
I mean, at least
funny.
It's like Team Cocaine, whatever.
Whatever. Anyway, we're out of here, guys. Thank you for staying tuned with us, and remember,
keeping up with the shenanigans.
Yeah, don't put Twinkies on your pizza. Suck it.